Alisa Murray here. So the conversation today is really about the differences between hiring a portrait photographer or hiring a portrait artist for life. It's come up in the studio so many times this week that I just felt like it would be the most appropriate thing to discuss, because one client in particular wanted me to try to make clear the difference between coming to see me in the studio as opposed to going to, say, a chain photography line, or having someone who might perhaps know how to shoot a camera but not know all the nuances of Photoshop in terms of creating a finished piece of art. And so I want to kind of talk about that a little bit just to sort of start the conversation, and we'll probably continue to go back to this because there's a lot of controversy in the industry right now with regards to the CDs that are being offered to clients, non-retouched photos in particular, and it puts a situation into the hands of artists that I'm just sort of not really sure how we should finesse through. My personal feeling is that when you hire me to do your photography, you're hiring me to be your artist for life. And so what my job is to build a relationship with each family, understand what's going on with the dynamics of each family, create individual and unique pieces of art that capture that specific family, and care with that client through every single image. So when we're doing a session of, say, 150 to 200 pictures, image capture, we're going to really pull from there 10 maybe amazing things, and from those 10 maybe amazing things, 3 might make it to the wall and hold a special place in the home for the next 25-30 years. And then the rest of those images are saved and put away for later to make books, or to go back to and maybe make a calendar of that first year of life, or the second or the third or the 5-year, or whatever we're doing. But part of the care of a client at my studio has always been in making sure that every single image that we create is created the best it can possibly be. And so they're art. It's really an art situation as opposed to a photography situation. And so it really becomes difficult to hire someone to do art or create art, and spend 4 and 5 hours in a studio setting trying to get the best amazing shot, and know that in the post-editing process it is imperative to have the artist eye involved in order to make that image amazing. Almost every single thing that you see in any of my work over 15 years, you will see Photoshop has become a part of that image. It's not something that I just spit out of the camera and handed to the client and they just had it printed somewhere and it's amazing. Every single piece that has my signature on it, I've had my hand on, not only in the clicking of the camera and capturing that image, but also in every step of the way, all the way through to where it hangs on their wall. And so it's very difficult to actually say to somebody, here is a CD of 50 unretouched images, when in fact every single image that I have that has my name on it, that I'm proud of, that's guaranteed for life, is retouched. It's like, it's just not even, it doesn't even make any sense. So I feel like that we've gone back and forth, through the years. We've had all sorts of different things that have come up in the industry, and I think a lot of times what happens is people, through the economy, try to figure out a way to get things done cheaper, and I really recommend that for everybody. I think that if you can get a camera and you can go and shoot a whole bunch of pictures and you can capture 2 or 3 amazing images from your camera, then go. I mean, do it. It's awesome. I mean, I want every mother to shoot pictures when she's not with me. But the studio work that we're putting out in terms of what we're offering as our signature lines of art is so delicate, and it's got so much more involved in it than just taking a picture. If somebody came to me, which is part of what prompted this, asked me, well, what's the difference? What's the difference? You've got so many studios that are out there. They'll do a $350 CD, or they'll do a $500 CD, or they'll do a whatever, and you have to kind of ask yourself, Okay, for what though? What are they doing? Are they giving them a photo shoot and then they're giving them a disc of images that are not retouched? What's the client going to do with that? I mean, like they can't even hang that on their wall. They can't do that. I mean, there's nothing they can do with it any better than they could do if they'd gone and bought a nice SLR camera themselves and photographed the baby themselves and just put it straight into the camera, straight into the computer and figured out maybe 2 or 3 of them that they'd want to use on their screensaver. But to not really put the time and effort into making that image amazing, retouching it, warming it up, darkening it up, printing it on the most important paper that it would be able to shine on. Most of the photography, we don't even specifically shoot for a specific standard paper. I mean, a lot of times I'll do metallic paper, I'll do canvas, or I'll do canvas wraps, I'll do all kinds of stuff. There's all kinds of stuff. There's so much new stuff and stuff that's been around for 100 years. Canvases with brushes, applied overlays to make that image a piece of art, an heirloom piece of art. And so the last thing that the client said to me when we were discussing it was, she asked me, she goes, could you please try to explain in your weekly photo tip that what you do and what we're hiring you to do is to be our artist and to know who we are and capture amazing images of our family being together and their relationships with one another, and that it's not a cookie cutter, 3 poses, here's a disc, unretouched, go do whatever you want to with it service. That the service is so much more special and long term, and the relationship is there, and that it's almost not even fair to call Alisa Murray a photographer. It's more out of necessity because I'm using the camera. But really, I'm using that camera as another medium. I'm an artist. I've been painting for my whole life, and my relationship with each client ends up gleaning images that are indicative to their family. And so there are signature shots I do for every family. There's signature shots that people come see me for each baby as they get here, or prenatals, or grandparents or whatever. And we do always offer the standard stuff that every studio does, and should do, which is the holiday stuff, seasonal things such as blue bonnets, bunnies, things that families are going to want every baby to have in their archive of images that have been dedicated, capturing their childhood. But for the most part, I haven't done a lot of research because, I'm busy shooting, but one of the things that I will say is that, my clients do not have to bring anything, really. I mean, they enjoy a full studio with all the props. They enjoy unlimited time with me. They enjoy me working through each piece of art until that piece of art is amazing and the best it can be. And I'm not ever satisfied. I mean, at some point I have to stop and say, okay, this is really wonderful. And they're like, yes, we love it. But because I'm such a perfectionist and I'm an artist at heart, I could continue to tweak that for weeks and weeks and weeks. And so it's just a different experience. And it's not easy to put that into words. But she understood once I explained it to her, and she asked me specifically to try to explain it in a way that she could show people or have them watch me talk about it, because there's a passion there, and it means something to me. It means something to me to know that what is hanging in your home, and it has my signature on it, it is a beautiful, amazing piece of art. And I can't do a photo shoot halfway. I can't do a 10-minute photo shoot or a 20-minute photo shoot and give you a disc of stuff that's not even retouched, that's not even appropriately sent to you in a way that you can use. I wouldn't want my signature underneath it. I wouldn't want anybody saying, oh gosh, I've seen Alisa Murray today and look at all these gorgeous shots. She just gave me 150 images on a disc. I don't know what I'm going to do with them, because they're certainly not going to look like my work. If I don't have my hand on it, there's no way that it's going to look like an Alisa Murray picture. So I think that the artists of the world are facing a real dilemma in this new wave of photographers that are, what I really feel like they're shooting and dumping. They're not really being responsible to their client in a long-term way. And so there's a huge difference. There's a huge, huge difference in what you're getting in terms of time with the studio, a relationship with the artist, quality behind the work, craftsmanship is really key. And so, I hope that this helps to sort of open the door to some discussion about this particular situation in our industry. Lots of clients call each day and they ask for a disc, and we say, of course, we don't offer that. I am delighted to give them access to images for the rest of their lives. A lot of studios don't offer that. I am delighted to give them all of the time and the talent that I've tried to cultivate for the past 15 years. A lot of studios don't offer them that. But most importantly, I want to be their artist for life. I want to take care of them and make sure that every single thing that I give them, I create for them, is the very best that it can possibly be. And that if something were to happen to that image, that I'm able to recreate that for them and make sure that they've got these beautiful pieces of art for their home for the next generations to come. So anyway, it's Alisa Murray again. I hope this has been an informative, maybe thought-provoking video this week. It's a little bit closer